name was Rio Soto. She lived in San Francisco. She lost all of her rights, as did all of the Japanese. And they did it because of fear. FDR was afraid the Japanese had infiltrated the West Coast, even though the Pentagon said it wasn't true. He knew better. And so he pushed through his policies, and we made one of the biggest mistakes of the 20th century by taking our own citizens, and listen to this, confiscating their wealth, making sure they couldn't work, shutting them down, and then putting them in camps. Tucker, this is the road we're on again. And it's not right if it's the left or the right that is doing it. It is absolutely un-American. You can't have freedom of speech if you can't express yourself in a meaningful place. This is like the Germans with the Jews behind the wall. They would put them in the ghetto. Well, this is the digital ghetto. You can talk all you want. Jews, you do whatever you want behind the wall. Well, that's not meaningful. And that's where we are. That's where millions of Americans will be. And again, it's not to compare it to the Germans. It is not to do anything but warn. If you don't stand up for free speech, you will be the one that loses it as well. After 9/11, I stood up proudly against many in my audience for Bill Maher when he said, well, at least their pilots aren't cowards. I thought that was a horrific thing to say. But when ABC fired him, I couldn't understand what part of politically incorrect didn't you understand, right, ABC? Right. We have to, the only speech worth defending is the speech you despise. Everything else, nobody has a problem with. They're not trying to ban it.
I grew up in a pretty liberal place, and what you just said was an almost daily feature of what liberals said.
Yep.
That's what we heard every day. You know, protect the weakest. Yep. The rights of the weakest are a measure of how free you are. I don't hear a single liberal saying that.
No, because the liberals aren't liberals anymore. And that's the problem. We need good classic liberals, people who believe in the Bill of Rights. I don't care who you vote for, what you do, how you live, who you have sex with. Do you believe in the Bill of Rights? Do you believe in those things? If you do, that's our unum. That's what we can unite on. Right now, people are asking us to unite on what? On exactly what you believe? That's not coming together. Let me also give you something else here. Let me just quote this. The corporation cannot curtail the liberty of press and religion of these people consistent with the purposes of the Constitution guarantees. And certainly the corporation can no more deprive people of freedom of press and religion than it can discriminate against commerce. Ownership does not always mean absolute dominion. The owners of privately held bridges, ferries, turnpikes, and railroads may not operate them as freely as a farmer does on his own farm. That's the Supreme Court of the United States in 1946. Marsh versus Alabama. The corporation cannot curtail. I am a free market person. I believe in the free market and the freedom of corporations, but not to take away people's rights, their basic rights.
That's exactly. And you just hit on the irony at the center of libertarianism. If you support a system that eliminates people's rights, you're not standing for freedom. In fact, you're standing for tyranny. And I have never heard it as nicely put as you just did. Glenn Greenwald, thank you.
Thank you, Tucker.